Hey there, YouTube. This is NecroVMX, and this is a video that I'm doing today. It's the only video I'm going to be uploading today. I decided to do this several hours ago and just kind of not do anything else today because I felt that this is something that I wanted to say and something that I wanted to do that is really super important, at least to me. And I didn't want it to get lost in a glut of uploads. So, all the other stuff, all the Let's Plays and movie reviews and everything will resume tomorrow. But as for today, I'm doing this. As you see, the title of this video is Don't Panic. And I'm sure you can guess what I'm talking about. The United States election. Now, not everybody who's listening is in the United States. Some of you are in other countries, which is fine, but I think that this does affect everybody. And I know people all around the world who are now currently in a state of panic about the results of this election, that Donald Trump has won and that he will be the next president. Come January, he will become our 45th president. And a lot of people are very upset for various reasons, many of which are valid. And some people, though, are beyond upset. And from what I've seen and the people that I've talked to and everything, I think that we got to calm down, everybody. Let's face it, if he had lost and Hillary Clinton had won, I would probably have to give this message to a completely different set of people. This was perhaps the most emotion-fueled election in recent history. Certainly since I've been alive, we've never had an election like this where emotions were riding so high. And I got to thinking about the reasons why it came to this and the reasons why Trump won. And really, I think that, it comes down to a lot of things. It comes down to negativity is what it really comes down to. It comes down to divisiveness. It comes down to this thought that anybody who doesn't think what you think is not only wrong, but evil in some way. You see people blocking each other on Facebook and getting crazy. And I'm actually going to read you some of the messages that I see in my Facebook wall, and some of it's very positive, some of it's very negative, and I'm kind of react to that. But I want to tell you guys, don't panic. 8 years ago, Barack Obama got elected over John McCain, and a lot of people thought that, John McCain would have been a very safe choice as president, and Barack Obama, who did not have that much experience and had some ideas that a lot of people considered very radical and very far-fetched, and people were afraid of what could happen if he had won. And we had people stocking up on guns because they thought that Obama was going to take their guns. And we had people building shelters. We had people learning survival tactics. And really, I'm not casting any aspersions on that. I'm not saying that these people were wrong or evil or stupid or anything. But, none of that stuff happened. And Obama turned out to be, like a pretty average president. I don't think he was all that terrible, nor do I think he was all that good. I just think he was very middle of the road. I do feel that some things that he did were good and some things that he did were bad, and then a lot of it is not going to stand the test of time. It's going to all be reversed in one way or another. And he got reelected, and that election against Mitt Romney, that was actually more decisive, I think. So, people said, hey, let's stick with this guy. And now you have Donald Trump, and it's a lot of the same things. It's a different set of people that are panicking. And some of them, they feel that they have very real and very valid reasons to panic. But panicking doesn't do anything. It doesn't help you. It actually hurts you. It adds to your stress. And the last thing that anybody needs in this world right now is more stress. Don't panic. And last night when I looked at Facebook and I looked at the flood of emotion coming through, some of it very raw, some of it very um, you know, just afraid. Just people are just scared, panicking, really just afraid for their safety, for the safety of their friends, for the safety of their family members, for the safety of their loved ones. And I felt like I had to say something. I didn't know what exactly was the right thing to say. I felt like I had to put something out there. That's something that people would see in it. Just a very simple, very short message to maybe just uplift somebody's spirits, anybody. If one person's spirits were uplifted, and I felt like it would have been worth it. And I thought of a few different things that I could say, but what I settled on was don't panic. And, you know, I think I got through to a few people. I'm not going to sit there and tell you what kind of president Donald Trump is going to be because I really don't know. I can't base anything on his campaign because a campaign is just like a year and a half of lies anyway. They all promise the moon, or in this case, in this case, they promise a dumpster fire, and a lot of people decided they wanted a dumpster fire. And I'm going to get into kind of like the reasons that I think he won. One of the reasons, and I know a lot of people are angry at people who didn't vote for Hillary Clinton, people who didn't vote at all, people who voted third party. I'm going to tell you right out, I voted for third party. I voted Gary Johnson, and the reason is because his message was very clear and very simple. Don't vote against somebody, vote for somebody. And I felt like I didn't want to vote for somebody like Hillary Clinton, who I don't believe in, to vote against Donald Trump. I'm not out to stop Trump, and I'm certainly not going to vote for somebody like Donald Trump, who I don't believe in, to vote against Hillary, because I don't want to vote against somebody. I wanted to vote for somebody. I don't think that, I didn't think he was going to win, but his message was never, we're going to win. His message was, we're going to try to legitimize third parties. We're going to try to tear down the duocracy of the Democrats and the Republicans and show people that they have more than one option, more than two options. And I think that was largely successful. Some people are upset, and they're saying that it's people like me that voted for Johnson or voted for Jill Stein or whoever, our fault that Donald Trump won. But no, it's not. It isn't, and I'm going to explain why in a very simple way. Like, first of all, I got to say that if the tides went differently and Hillary Clinton was president-elect, I would have a very different set of people all yelling the same thing at me, like, how dare you not vote for Trump? It's your fault he lost. It's your fault, Hillary, And to be honest, like, I did say on Facebook a while back that Donald Trump was objectively worse than Hillary Clinton, but all my entire life, I've seen the choice of the lesser of two evils. I've never really had a presidential candidate that I felt like I would really get stoked for. I've never felt like I would want to go to a rally, or I would want to like put up signs or anything like that. I mean, there have been presidential candidates that I tolerated, like Mitt Romney. I tolerated him. I thought he was a good person. I didn't agree with him on a lot of things, but he never really stood a chance. And it's like you got to vote with your conscience, because what else do you have at the end of the day? I understand why people disagree with that. Some people, they feel very strongly about you have to pick red or blue to stop the other. But I think that divisiveness and negativity got us here. Negativity got us here, absolutely. Negativity about Hillary Clinton, negativity about Donald Trump got us into this mess to begin with. They got us here. And spewing more negativity is not going to get us out of this. it's not going to improve things, because when has negativity ever really improved anything? I can't think of if you can tell me when negativity improves something, let me know in the comments, because I'd love to hear it, because it'd be something that I've never heard before, that's for sure. But I do have to say that I do believe that fear mongering and negativity got us here. You know, most of the people that voted for Donald Trump are not bad people. Some of them are. Yeah, you have the white supremacists, the xenophobes, the racists, the homophobics, the transphobics, the alt-right. They're bad people. But there are a lot of people that I know that voted for Trump for various reasons. Some of them felt like they didn't have any good choices at all, and they went with the devil they didn't know rather than the devil they do know. Some of them felt like we needed a political outlier. Some of them were people who supported Bernie Sanders, and they felt that he got a raw deal, and that Hillary Clinton was instrumental in screwing over Bernie Sanders, and they vowed never to vote for Hillary. And although I don't necessarily agree with the tactic of voting for Trump or not voting at all, I gotta respect their decision because it was made with convictions. Some people just feel that he speaks to them. I was talking with a friend last night, and I was trying to say that 8 years ago, a lot of people were panicking about Obama, and it turned out not to be that bad. It didn't turn out to be a big deal at all. And he said, yeah, but that was a bunch of like farmers and rednecks and whatnot that were panicking. When smart people panic, I panic. And I get that. I get what he was saying. But at the same time, like all those people, those blue collar, middle America, people that they're not super educated. They don't eat kale. They're like that quote from, and I'm not trying to insult anybody, by the way, but I'm just quoting a movie here. That quote from Blazing Saddles. These people are, they're down to earth, simple, salt of the earth. Idiots. And I don't mean to insult anybody. It's just a funny movie, but you get these people felt like their opinions have been discounted for so long, and this is their Obama in a sense. This is their change. This is their revolution. When these people, like, they felt like they have no say in anything. They're in the states that don't matter that much in the electoral map. They don't live in Ohio or Florida or Pennsylvania. Voter turnout and voter enthusiasm is why Trump won. He had a backing that was 100% enthusiastic. All the people that voted Trump really genuinely liked Trump. Well, not all the people. Because like I said, I do know some people who voted for him just because they were like, all right, well, lesser of two evils, or devil you don't know. But he had this huge following of people who were extremely enthusiastic. And I don't know anybody that was really, well, I do know a few people, but very few people were enthusiastic about Hillary Clinton. And, and I know some people were out there starting to say, well, get enthused. Well, you can't just say that and expect it to happen. She has to make it happen. And I do know a few people who came around to Hillary Clinton towards the end and decided that they really did like her, especially after the third debate. And that's wonderful. And that's part of what makes the country so great, is that everybody can vote for who they want to vote for. And everybody can do that. Like a lot of countries, and you even have the choice not to vote. A lot of countries, some countries like Australia, have compulsory voting. If you don't vote and you don't have like a good enough reason that you didn't vote, you get fined. Then there's country, like really crazy places like North Korea, where oh, we're not doing that. No, get out of here. Computer wants to restart, but I need to read the Facebook stuff to you. I know this video is again, it's going to be a long video, so it's another reason why it's another only video going up today. But what's this saying? Shit. Yeah, the enthusiasm factor was not there for Hillary Clinton, and it never was going to be. She's just not that charismatic. She's just not that interesting. She couldn't, like I've seen her rallies. It's just, some of the stuff that she would say was like really super cringy, and all that stuff hurt her chances, And I don't think that people should be choosing a candidate just because they think the other one is bad. They should be choosing a candidate because they think that candidate is good. I'm gonna read you a few things off of Facebook and just kind of give you my thoughts. I'm not gonna give anybody's names because I don't want to necessarily put anybody on blast. But this is a very old friend of mine who I've known since the late '90s. She says, going to bed and trying not to worry about the results of all this. I haven't said much of anything up to this point, but I want to say this. If this nightmare circus has taught us anything, it's that one more light has been shed. Oh, sorry. It's that more light has been shed than ever in many of our lifetimes on the hatred, bigotry, violence, and oppression that we are capable of in this country against anyone we consider them. To any one of my friends list who voted with an I don't care or worse attitude about the inhumane treatment people who are different from yourself for whatever reasons you made your choice aside from those facts, will learn a lesson from whatever becomes of this. And I hope you see the benefits going forward to take some time in your everyday life to treat people with respect, dignity, and love. We might not always have the freedom to do so. We really don't have to go very far back in world history to see this and what it can become. She's right for some reasons. She's wrong for other reasons. I did sort of adopt the same attitude at first when I first saw that Trump was winning. We deserve this. Benjamin Franklin said that we get the leader we deserve. That's what democracy is. But at the same point, I said that to a friend of mine, and he said, well, I don't deserve this. And I said, all right, well, you do you, man. He was very upset. And I understand that. But, I do agree that, people should be treated with respect. And that's the part I agree with. I just think that, I really don't believe in vote shaming. I don't believe that, I know people who voted for Trump, and one of my friends right here on YouTube had voted for Trump, and when he looked at Facebook and he saw some of the people that were just unbelievably upset about this, he felt upset because he felt like he doubted himself. Did I do the wrong thing? Did I hurt people by doing this? And no, if Trump hurts people, if Trump does bad things, if he does bad policies that hurt people, it is not the fault of the people that voted for him. It's his fault. He has the choice of whether or not to be a good president. And you know what? Maybe he's not capable of that, but everybody takes an oath to serve. Everybody who becomes president takes an oath to serve everybody in this country, to put literally everybody in the country above themselves. They have to do that. That's the oath of office that they take near the end of January. And whether or not they choose to uphold their oath, that's on them. That's not on the people who voted, because a lot of people, they say things and then they become a completely different person when they become president. And as for him being a racist and all this, and hey, look, we have a history, okay? We had one president who was not a racist, and people thought his non-racist tendencies were so controversial that we went to war with ourselves, and it was the bloodiest war that we've ever fought. We lost more lives in that war than all the other ones put together. And it was just because we had a guy who wasn't racist enough for the time. He was considered too radical, and they killed him. He was assassinated. You know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Abraham Lincoln. Let's scroll down here. Let's see. Here's somebody says, I'm scared for my daughter being in the military now. Well, I got nothing but respect for military people. I think that, they're good at what they do. I think that anybody who is a parent who has a kid in their military should be kind of scared, not because Donald Trump, but because, they're putting their lives on the line just by being in the military. Something could happen, no matter who's president. Something could happen at a moment's notice, and then we're at war, and things like that have happened a lot. So I understand that. I don't think, So here's a good friend of mine, and let me just read what he said. This guy, I feel for him. I really do. He's so very upset. I don't agree with everything he's saying, but I really do feel for him, and I think that everybody's voices should be heard here. He says, so my wall is full of people freaking out about what's going to happen to them in the coming days. People worrying if their job will be able to fire them for their lifestyle choice. People worrying that their marriage license might be repealed. People worrying about their retirement funds as the Dow plummets downward and completely undoes the reform Obama put into motion. People worrying that their healthcare coverage might be canceled due to pre-existing conditions. People worrying that the narrative of our country has now been driven back so far as we followed our first black president with a man who has been endorsed by the KKK, a man who has advocated torture and war crimes, a man whose own party does not believe he should be trusted with Twitter, let alone our nuclear codes. Today, Donald Trump has upset the planet as the United States reels from our own personal Brexit. If you voted for Trump, I don't fuck with you anymore. Period. Fuck off. If you voted third party and you can see this message, this could have been prevented because of your bullshit actions. See, I don't agree with him, but I'm giving everybody full form here. I'm past the point of hearing about Bernie. Bernie is past the point of hearing about himself. He told you to support Hillary, and look what happened. The inability of the left to distinguish between an imperfect ally and an enemy is the height of privilege and will now be our downfall. And I actually spoke with him. Well, there's more, but I want to jump in there. I spoke with him one-on-one last night about this, and he said that. And I said, I agree, but that problem isn't just the left. It's also the right, and it's humanity in general. Sometimes an imperfect ally, like somebody who doesn't agree 100%, it's them again. Those of you privileged enough to go through the next 4 years with little trouble, protect those that can't. I feel like he's doing a Professor X thing, but I respect that. I just watched X-Men Apocalypse for the second time the other day, and I got to say that moment in that movie where Professor X said, protect those without power, that's basically what my friend here is saying, and he's right, This is going to be a taxing time for us. For now, I'm terrified and I'm angry and I'm so very tired. I'll see how far the landscape has shifted in the morning. Well, it is morning, and, the world still turns, hearts still beat, people still breathe, work, shit, fuck, all that stuff. And it's going to continue that way for the next 4 years. And for some people, things are going to get worse, and for some people, things are going to be getting better. And if it had been Hillary Clinton, it would be the same thing. It would be different people. Some people, things would be getting better, and some people, things would be getting worse. So, I'm trying to get people to not panic. I know that people will eventually stop panicking, but, I feel for him so much because I understand. Like I said, I talked with him at length last night, and he was very, very upset, and he absolutely has the right to be very upset. And I don't take personally the stuff he says about third party. Like, a lot of people are lashing out at anybody who voted third party. I don't take it personally. It doesn't bother me. Let's just move on. Let's see. Okay, I'm actually looking for stuff related to this. So. The garlic bread memes page. So here's something everyone can agree on. Garlic bread is the best bread. See? Let's agree on something, right? There's nothing better. There's no bread better than garlic bread. Like, what? You like banana bread? What the fuck's wrong with you? No, I'm joking. I like banana bread too, but garlic bread is the best bread. Oh boy. I'm just trying to get past a lot of this stuff. Okay. This person says, that face when the popular vote doesn't matter. This is how we got stuck with Bush, too. Well, I hate to break it to you, but Trump won the popular vote as well. So it's just one of those things. I don't agree with it or understand it, but that is the way it happened. That is, the popular vote technically may not matter, but he did win the popular vote. Let's see. Here's a positive message somebody said, and I know this person also voted third party. And she posted a meme that says, after the election, if you win, don't gloat. If you lose, don't despair. This has been hard on all of us. Treat others the way you want to be treated. We all will need it. I agree. See, that's my sentiment right there. That says it better than I probably could have. Let's see. I haven't read this next one yet, so I'm just going to kind of go into this one blind. It says, I've been thinking hard about what I wanted to say about the events last night, and I think the best way for me to describe my state of mind is that I'm angry. I am so angry about what has happened, and more importantly, why it happened. I'm angry at the DNC for behaving poorly in the primary process and playing right into Trump's corrupt government narrative. I'm angry at Hillary Clinton for not being a better candidate. Was she qualified? Yes. Could she have done the job? Yes. But she had so much baggage and still insisted on running during an election season when voters were looking for the exact opposite of what she was offering. The Republicans nominated a firestorm, and the Democrats nominated a bag of dry leaves. More than anything, though, I'm angry with the people who voted for Trump. I'm not saying that nobody in his base has legitimate grievances or that our government serves everyone the way it should, because it doesn't. None of that changes the fact that Donald Trump is a bigoted, misogynistic narcissist who has no business serving as the commander-in-chief of our country. Maybe you don't think Mexicans are rapists or that women are nothing but sex objects. Maybe you're not scared of immigrants and you don't think we should deport Muslims. That doesn't change the fact that you were willing to vote for a man who does. As far as I'm concerned, overlooking his bigotry is just as despicable as sharing it. It certainly had the same effects. If you're a person I care about if you're a person I care about and you voted for Trump, don't tell me. I will think less of you for it. Up until the end, I was kind of with him. Like, if I actually would love people, if anybody out there voted for Trump, let me know in the comments. Let me know your reasons. And I'm not going to be judgmental. I'm not going to, I want to hear everybody. I really do. I want everybody to sort of just get it out off their chests. Let's see. There's a lot of memes that I'm scrolling past. So, people quoting things, Some sarcastic shit, too. Oh, man. There were so many. And now I'm... Hey, and here's somebody. This is somebody who says Massachusetts is about to legalize marijuana, about the only good thing coming out of this election so far. And I'm not a user of marijuana myself, but I do believe that it should be legal, and I absolutely am against it being criminalized, and I do think that's a positive thing. So yeah, see, positive things have happened. Not everything is awful. It's not all bad things. Oh man, where did all these posts go? There's so many that. Here's somebody just said, I think I want to move to Canada. Canada's a wonderful country, and I think their prime minister is great. But I don't think you should do that. We don't want to have a mass exit. Don't leave America just because times are rough or uncertain. I don't agree. I don't agree with Hillary on much, but like one thing that I really liked about her was her campaign slogan, "Better Together." We are better together. So don't go fleeing off to another country. If things get really bad and you're put into a position where your life is in danger, absolutely you should get out of here. But if you think that would help, but it hasn't happened yet. Let's see. Okay. Some of these memes are funny, but I don't want to. I just want to read some relevant ones that. There's some really raw stuff that I wanted to get to. I hope that people didn't take their post down because the emotions behind it all is why I'm doing this video. Okay, here's a person who says, at this moment in time, spare me your fucking optimism. Well, then what? Should we all be negative and like, oh, woe is me and doom and gloom and everything's terrible? I mean, what has that gotten anybody? This is a person who needs a fucking hug. You know what I mean? That's what they need. I feel so bad for people who think like that because I've been there. I've been in those pits of despair where you fuck you for being positive. But now I'm not. I'm not feeling that. I'm not going to be like that. Okay, this is sort of a meme, but somebody said describe the election using only a movie title. Let's see what some people said. Apocalypse Now, Animal House, Idiocracy, Attack of the Clones, Alien vs. Predator, Die Another Day. Hocus Pocus? I don't know. The Birth of a Nation. God. Escape from New York. Dazed and Confused. A lot of people saying Idiocracy. Raw Deal. That's S. Serpent. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you on blast there, but I thought it was a good answer. Independence Day. White House Down. There's a lot of them. There's my post. Don't panic. You know, and people really liked it. I did want to go to, let's see. The stuff before this should be good because this is the stuff that I was reacting to. Bugs Bunny song through the United States. Here's somebody says, well, it looks like Trump won. I just pray that he does right by the American people. And that's really all we can do. You know what? You know, South Park said it best 8 years ago when Obama won and everybody was, you know, came out of their bunkers the next day and they're like, we're still alive. The apocalypse didn't come. You know, maybe we'll get through this. Maybe it'll be okay. Maybe he won't be so bad. Yeah, maybe, you know, like personally, I think, you know, I don't think Trump can make a good president, but I'm willing to find out. You know what I mean? Let's hope so. I don't want him to fail. I don't want the nation to go through 4 years of hell. All right. Let's see. Okay. So somebody said the entire polling industry in this country is about to go bankrupt. Nate Silver is finished. No one is going to trust a political poll ever again. Nor should they. You know, I honestly, I'm surprised by this. I thought Clinton had it in the bag. The polls were all showing her winning. I mean, it did tighten towards the end, but then she was getting another surge, and she lost. You know, and yeah, obviously you know, unless you're like you can actually poll, like when you're talking about polling, like poll every single person in America and ask them who you voting for. It's going to be imperfect. You know, it's going to be flawed. So, you know, yeah, I agree. I agree that you shouldn't trust a political poll. It looks like my whole browser is just like locked up right now, which really is not very conducive to what I'm trying to do. I'm going to pause this recording while I get this shit sorted out. All right, we're back in business. The whole browser like crashed on me, but it should be good now. So here is a let's see. So here's another one that says, a lot of my conservative friends and family thought during this election that because I was so critical of Trump, I was a Clinton supporter. It fell upon deaf ears, but I said it over and over again that was not the case. I only supported her in the sense that I found her to be deeply flawed but massively more qualified than Trump. I put my energy into making sure Trump didn't become president because I thought and still think he is or was very dangerous, unknown variable for the country, for the future of this country. I certainly had a myriad of major complaints with Hillary Clinton, and I had been fully prepared to be extremely critical of her. The chance now. Well, Republicans, whatever that even means anymore, you have the House, the Senate, and the Oval Office. There is nothing standing in your way except that pesky Constitution. So let's see how your experiment pans out without any roadblocks to use as excuses. I think it's a very negative post. I get what he's saying, and I agree with some of it, but I think it's a very negative post. I think that, you know, like there's this thought that like everybody that doesn't agree with me is out to do evil. Everybody wants to destroy the country. You know, the Democrats think that the Republicans want to destroy the country. The Republicans think the Democrats want to destroy the country. Now, I think Donald Trump. I don't think he's qualified. I think he's an idiot. But do I think that he is like going into the Oval Office willingly wanting to do harm to people, even when he says it? I don't believe it because nothing about him seems sincere to me. Anybody who's doing this, they're trying to do the best for the country, and they just disagree with you on what they think is best, and they could be wrong. They could be really wrong. They could be. What is that? Oh, this is bugging me. All right, but let me just move on here. Okay. All right. Let's see. I'm going to read this one. This is from a very close friend of mine, and it's very it's very, we'll say, not safe for work, but I'm going to read it. He says, "Dear third-party voters, you can all go burn in hell. I don't even care how much or how little you actually influence the election. Your fucking affected morality and demand for ideological purity over reason and your goddamn arrogant, superior attitude has all played a part in this. Well, now you're going to have to drown with the rest of us, you utter pieces of shit. I hope you're proud of yourselves. Fuck you and die. Don't like me posting this. Eat shit. Come at me." I'm sorry for laughing. Well, we already talked. He actually, after he posted that, but before I had even seen it, he texted me and he was like, "By the way, you're exempt from that. I know you voted third party and you get a pass." And I was like, "Don't worry. I don't take anything I read on Facebook all that seriously." And he's like, "Well, I was being serious." And I'm like, I know you're being serious. Even when you're joking, you're serious. But, you do you. He's a misanthrope. That's the way he is. I told him misanthropy is his anti-drug and don't change. This is my best friend here. And he's basically saying, anybody who voted third party should die. And I'm just sitting there like, I voted third party. Come at me, bro. I understand his emotion. I understand he's upset. I really, really get it. It's all valid. Everybody's feelings are valid in this, I think, to a certain extent. I like this one. "Relieved Britain no longer is the biggest fuck up of 2016. Well, that remains to be seen, I guess. This one says, "Holy crap, what the hell is going on? This feels like the beginning of a bad joke or a Shadowrun campaign. The next few days will be very interesting to see how the world reacts and how the markets react." Well, yeah, and obviously we saw that initial, like, oh crap, and the market plummeted and everything, but it'll bounce back, This one says, "Now it's official. Welcome to the Fourth Reich." Yeah, I'd like to think that we're a little stronger than that, we're a little better than that, but there are parallels and they're very valid. Let's see. Okay. I really wanted to get to someone's comment, but it's taken me a while to find all this stuff. This one says, I imagine a lot of parents preparing to have very sobering conversations with their daughters and sons over the coming days. It is done. Yeah. That's sort of, I think that kind of thing happens after every election. This person said, very simple, be humble about your wins. I agree. Thankfully, I have not seen too much of the Trump supporters gloating yet. Even Trump, in his victory speech, like all the rhetoric kind of, he sounded more presidential than he ever had. He also looks scared to death because I don't think he really wants to be president. But he looked scared, guys. He looked like he was frightened, as much as any of you are. He was talking about, he congratulated, Clinton on her campaign and everything. There was none of this, I'm going to lock her up crap. That was all rhetoric. That was all bullshit to begin with. All right, here's another one. If we talk about, this is one of my relatives, actually. If we talk about who won as a victory, we should do it together, no matter who we voted for. We, the people, always should come together behind the choice of the people. Those that celebrate apart stay divided, as the government wants it. Something to think about. Again, God help us in the days ahead. The last part's a little doom and gloomy, but I agree that we should try to be united. We should, everybody's like, yeah, Trump, and I did say a little bit of that, but thankfully I haven't seen too much of it. This one says, look on the bright side. We get at least 4 years of Alec Baldwin's Trump on Saturday Night Live. That has been very, very entertaining. So there you go. Let's see. This is another one. I will respect you. This is a meme, actually, but it says, I will respect you regardless of who you support in this election. I don't unfriend people due to political views. That degrades democracy and free thinking. That's actually, it says it really well. I fully agree with that one. Someone just says, well, we are all doomed. No, we're not doomed. We're fucked a little bit, but not doomed. But we're used to getting fucked. Let's see. I want to read this one. This person lives in Japan, so they have an outsider perspective to this, which I think is an important aspect of it, because a lot of this is going to be how we are seen by the world. And this person says, caught up with what's going on. Congrats, America. I hope you enjoy products from China, as that's the only international support you'll have now. Not that Clinton is any better, but Trump is literally a modern-day Hitler. There doesn't need to be mass genocide, just an idiot with high charisma to ruin everything. Someone who openly hated minorities and wants to strengthen borders. Heh. Well, I hope America plans to bring a couple 100 million jobs to itself. The Canadian, Japanese, and I believe German immigration websites have crashed a few times when Trump gained the lead. That is historical that something like that even happens. It also happened with Canadian immigration website. That was me saying that. Well, hopefully America wises up and gets rid of him if he's elected fairly quickly. They got rid of or tried to get rid of better presidents for far less. You know, like I said, it's very doom and gloomy, but like I'm welcoming all perspectives on this, and it is a foreign perspective, which I think is important. Obviously, we're not going to be popular anymore. We were popular for a while. I mean, we had the Bush years where we were like fucking global pariahs. I think it's going to be like that again, but we survived that. Okay, let's see. Oh, this is a long one, isn't it? I might have to read this. Okay, I'm going to read this. This is long, but I'm going to read it. It's a long video already, so. Let's see. Screw it. Here's my obligatory serious post before bed. So this election, to be honest, it won't matter too much. But who do we honestly sit down and blame for all this? Well, it could be easier to blame one or two groups in particular, but I'm going to go with everyone. That includes me. Everyone is to blame for a vote so surreal. I'm not even worried. I'm just left confused by it all, and it makes sense when you really sit down and think about it. So far, I haven't read this one yet. So far, I'm agreeing. This guy kind of gets it. I'm not... Oh, I read that already. For years, the left have been open to new ideas, and things were going well for a time. I remember in 2012, the UK was starting to become a nice place to live. Obama... Oh, yeah, this person's from the UK, by the way. Obama just about managed to get reelected. Everything was on the up. Then something happened. I don't know what, but the public's mind became twisted. The right became even more right than it has always been. The left became even more left than it should have been. All of a sudden, both sides are fighting one another. People want change, and they're desperate for change. Trump came from a place where he can tap into what people want. He listened and he spoke. I want to say that I think he's gotten to something, but it's not that he tapped into what people want. He tapped into what people want to hear. I think it's an important distinction. Anybody who agreed with him is deemed a racist or a misogynist, and that's the issue. Well, because he's racist and he's misogynist, so if you support him, you kind of get lumped in with that. And to a certain extent, that's unfair. You know what I mean? That's unfair. That's like saying that all Bernie supporters are communists. It's not true, you know? This had fuck all to do with Hillary being a woman. This was about what people wanted to hear versus what they've been told 1,000 times already. Trump is a joke, a very dangerous joke at that. He's impulsive and very naive. Yet, just because he is doesn't make anyone who agrees with him that way. Hillary could be seen as just as bad, and yes, I know there are people out there who wanted her in just because she's a woman, and I'll be honest, that's what people are sick of. People are sick to death of people's sex being used as to why they should get power. It's why they're voting Trump. They are sick to death of people doing that. I get that, but at the same time, isn't that using gender for power anyway? Like I'm going to vote for him because he's a guy, basically. That's kind of the same thing. With Brexit earlier in the year, it was the same. It was a lot of younger people pointing the finger, saying it's the older generation doing this, turning their back on an entire generation without understanding that it's the younger generation at fault as well. It's those who don't bother to vote for whatever reason. So I'm saying now, left, right, it doesn't matter. We can all agree that politics, as it's being run right now, isn't working. We have the free will to change that, and we don't. We have a two-party system that isn't working at all. We have a split in the socials between left and right. And while I can't speak for the right, I can say that the left needs to do some changes. So I say we stop getting offended by things that don't matter in the long run. We also need to stop basing people's ability to work and succeed based on their sex and ethnicity. And we need to stop pointing the finger at everyone else when things don't go our way. I said it before, but 2012 was a great year for things improving. Yet I blame things falling apart entirely on the divide between the left and the right, and that gap needs to fill back in. I do agree with that. That way, in 2020, we can have actual people who represent the people of America, not some half-wit who thinks it's okay to belittle people and talk and to refer to women as pigs and how he wants to fuck his daughter or a woman who is shady so that she can indirectly start world war with sanctions for another war, which, by the way, why is anyone defending Russia for wanting to blow up a number of innocent people? That's a rant for another time. That is a rant for another time. So yeah, the UK general elections aren't much better either, but at least we have actual people and not just meme generators. And I'll admit, I'm not that good at making way for change. I don't do enough, and this probably won't go anywhere. Well, it went somewhere. It's in my video. But I just kind of hope that the next 4 years will bring something new and somewhat positive to the world. 2016 may be a complete and utter disaster, but it's our disaster, and we have to live with it. So instead, we can do something about that. Yeah, so far, that I agree with that, like, probably more than any other post I've read so far. I think he's really coming from a thoughtful place there. This person says, Trumpism is by far the dumbest thing I have ever witnessed, and I lived through the eras of teased hair sweaters and shoulder pads, bicycle shorts with leg warmers, New Kids on the Block, snow, and the Millennium. Well, there you go. I can't argue with that. Let's see. This person, I feel so bad for this person. They say, well, there goes my dream of having kids because I'm not raising them in the country we're going to have. Well, hopefully it's only for 4 years, and even then, only for 8. So, you know. This person, I've already read a few of their posts, but I have to pose it. How did Trump gain Hispanic votes over Mitt Romney's in 2012? I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm Hispanic, and I don't know, man. I have no idea how any Hispanic person would have voted for Trump. And let me tell you, if you're Hispanic and you voted for Trump, tell me in the comments. I'm not going to hate on you. I want to know. I legitimately want to know. Like, please, help us all make sense of it. Let's see. This person says, if you continue to hate on third-party voters, you will keep making sure that elections like these happen. Yes! There's more to it, but yes, 1,000 times, yes! Yes! The people who voted third party helped take a step towards third parties being given a bigger chance in the future. This election opened people's eyes to the fact that there were more options than just Democrat and Republican. The fact that people went through with voting for Gary Johnson or Jill Stein after looking into them and identifying with them means that the system is working, and future elections may be able to avoid being as much of a disaster as this one was. Donald Trump scored a lot of votes tonight just because people didn't want to see Hillary Clinton in office. Hate on the third-party voters all you want, but their ability to go out and vote for whoever they want is truly what makes America great. And the people voting on, and the real people acting un-American are the ones who can't see that. Preach it, brother. Preach it. I already liked that earlier, but I wish I could like it twice. You know what? No, we're not gonna. We're gonna unlike it, and we're gonna give it. How do you do that love thing? You just hold down the click. I don't know how to do it on the browser. I only know how to do it on the phone. Oh well. I wanted to give it that heart. Okay. There's another one. This is kind of the same thing. Everyone really needs to lay off blaming third-party voters for Clinton's likely loss. This is before it was final, but we knew the way it was going. I know you're upset at the idea of a President Trump. I am, but your anger may be misdirected. Aside from the fact that Johnson stole the support from Clinton and Trump very evenly, within 1% in all pre-election polls, Trump is winning or has won because people came out and voted for him. Period. Scapegoating third-party voters is upsetting and just plain distracts from the fact that the majority of this country wanted Trump for president, and it undermines the entire concept of our freedom to vote for who best represents our interests. I can't argue with anything he said. I can't argue with anything he says. This one says, my friends, all of you, women, people of color, LGBT, friends of faith, all my friends, if you need somewhere to run, my home is yours. And this is a person who I know is very upset and very angry and just really hurting right now. And for them to be like that, I mean, that's very positive. I gotta like that too. Okay. This person says, could have had our first Jewish president, but instead we most likely will have our first orange one. Good job, DNC. Let the people decide who they want next time, okay? Can't argue with that, really. All right. This person is also a very good friend of mine. He says, to all those of my friends and family who felt it was worth voting for Trump, know that your ignorance and hatred is now spreading fear across this country. Know that I am ashamed that you can be so selfish. Many people that I care for are fearing for their safety. So those of you, I look at each and every one of you, and I despise you. Man, I gotta talk to him about. I hope he's okay. It sounds like he's really hurting too, and I don't agree with hatred. I don't. I can't. But it usually comes out of pain, and I feel like he's feeling pain right now. Okay, this one is George Takei, so I'm just gonna tell you it's George Takei, but I want to read what he. I haven't read this one. I'm addressing this to all who voted to defeat Donald Trump and what he represents. We may not have prevailed, but we must not despair. Many of you are, like me, in a state of shock. This does not feel like the America you love and honor. We are in uncharted waters. In times like these, we must reaffirm the values we cherish and have fought for. Equality, justice, the care of our planet. We must stand up defiantly to any dark or divisive acts and look out for the most vulnerable among us. It is more important than ever. Within our hearts, we know the society we wish to live in. No one can take that vision from us. We are each of us keepers of that promise. This country has seen wars and grave injustices, slavery, and even civil war in its past. Yet we fought our way through. Hold your loved ones close. Tell them that it is in times of sadness and the toughest of days when we often find our true mettle. I can't disagree with anything George said there. Let's see. This person just said at this point, and this is before the election was finished, but he says at this point, third parties account for 4.6% of the national total, close to 5 million votes. To me, like he's putting that as a negative, but I think that's a positive for all the reasons that other people have said before. All right. This person says, if you vote for Trump today, make sure to explain to your LGBT plus female, black, Latino, or Latina Muslim friends why they don't matter to you. I get where that comes from. I can understand that sentiment, absolutely. What I want to know is, like, I've met so many women in the past few days that said they were supporting Trump, or, you know, and I'm just like, why, you know, but really, I do want to know why. I do want to know why. I don't want to hear because he's going to make America great again, because that's just a vague nothingness, you know. I want to hear the real reason. Let's see. Let's see. This person says it's actually kind of comical that Trump won. Like, holy shit, did we actually just do this? Is this the fucking Twilight Zone? Yeah, I wish it was funny. I really wish it was. It's not, but I wish it was funny. Let's see. This person just says, I'm not ready for Nazi America. Then don't let it happen. You have a voice. Don't let it happen. Don't let us become that. This was just one step. It would take a lot more steps to get to that point. Okay. All right, well, yeah, we're getting close to an hour here, and there's one more that I want to read. There's actually one more that I want to read and a response to that one. And once again, I'm not saying who anybody is, but okay, here it is. To my Trump supporter friends, early congrats to you. I just have the following to state. If I hear the words religious freedom bill, if I see the Supreme Court annul marriage to my wife, and if any executive decisions or laws are passed designed to target the LGBT community, I'm taking my family out of this country for safety reasons. The transgender community is scared to death. We're going to be targeted, and we'll probably will be. Just know this, my Trump supporter friends. I love you, I do. But you may have just endangered my life and my wife's and our entire community. Remember that in case the worst happens. I hope it doesn't. But We know it will. Remember that if you voted for a man that may want me and those like me to be gone, if those things come to pass, remember where you were this day. I love you all. I truly do. But I am sincerely scared for my wife and I. You don't know, really, what you've just done to us. So that was, I'm not going to say, like I said, I'm not putting anybody on blast, but that was very emotional and heartfelt, and that person is obviously very scared right now, and they have good reasons to. So, this is a reply from another person who's also a friend of mine who did vote for Trump. And I'm keeping names out of this. I'm just going to say redacted. The only name I'm going to put in here is my own because he does mention me. But he says, "Dear redacted, I would never want to see that happen to you or your wife. I would hate to see that happen. John," that's me, "talked to me the other night about voting Johnson, something that I had done before in 2012. But with hearing all the reports of Soros supplying crooked voting machines, a Hillary victory ensuring that the ghastly, out-of-control levels of political correctness continue, a possible damaging of our First Amendment, and most certainly the Second, video games coming under heavy fire since Hillary in the past had spoken about them being censored, potential war with a nuclear superpower, possibly because it would come into conflict with her Middle East cash flow, her endless bad political moves, illegal use of laptops for private use that put people in danger, like in Skyfall," he says, "and a seeming feeling that she was above the law, not to mention there was a very good chance that with an amnesty bill passed, if she won, could have meant the end of Republicans ever winning another election again. It honestly scared me that our country could be truly in dire straits. I had to. I voted Trump. I don't like Trump. I find him a boorish alpha male jock with unpolished political skills. But with so much against him, since he represents something so different, it was appealing. But between a jerk and the most crooked politician that isn't even liked by that many, it was a more obvious choice. I would hate that some sort of bill get passed that affects you, but please take this as any kind of solace. I grew up in a pretty religious household, one I am still in, and while growing up, a lot of that attitude did rub off on me. One that slowly but surely did come off with no small help from one Henry Rollins, who for the longest time had been a supporter of gay rights. He never browbeat or shamed. He spoke common sense, and it did speak to me a little in a way that I understand better, more about gay people. I wouldn't say I'm a huge champion, but I'm certainly not a villain, and at least moved past apathy. At least I'd like to think so. Hearing Apu on The Simpsons talk about tolerating others who are different than you also helped in the great Lisa the Vegetarian episode. I don't think Trump would go for some kind of religious freedom act. First, it would sound hollow and full of nothing coming from Trump, since we all know the kind of guy he is. That's true. 2, Trump is a businessman and a man who now wants votes, so I don't think he would go for an act like that anyway. 3, the Republicans might want that bill to go through, but they don't like Trump and will more than likely be willing to push a new candidate or worry about their own agenda first. 4, it's freedom that has now been given to a country coming around the bend to be more tolerant toward the LGBT community. Once you have a freedom, never give it up, because once the government gets it back, it's gone. It's why Roe v. Wade and abortion is still a thing. People want abortions, and the freedom to have safe abortions and not in back alleys where women died. I don't know if any of this will help you or not, or if you read this and thought, wow, what a moron. But just know that my vote was made more out of fear than anything else. It was more to see Hillary lose hard by the only guy who could do it, and only because Bernie got screwed out of his position. Again, for what it's worth, please have a good night. So, I obviously don't agree with everything he said, but I get the sentiment, and there you have a Trump voter who's feeling like I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm not trying, that's the way he's feeling, and I totally he voted his conscience. It's not what I would have done. I mean, I would vote my conscience too, but it's not the way that my conscience runs. Everybody's different, and I do got to respect that. There was also another reply here. This person, who I don't even know, said, "I am a Trump supporter, I also live with transgender people. I will protect you. He is not like that at all. Yeah, we do. I don't really know. Like Trump doesn't really talk about that kind of stuff too much. But now you're kind of seeing that like they're not all bad people. Like we can't be so divided anymore. We have to come together. We have to stop panicking. We have to start throwing shade at each other, and we have to come together and be a nation again. Because yeah, you know, yeah. There are a lot of people who, voted Trump, but that doesn't mean that they're horrible monsters. Some of them are, like when Hillary talked about the basket of deplorables, she wasn't wrong. She said half the supporters are from the basket of deplorables. The only word that I disagree with is half. It's probably less than that, but yeah, I do think, and I've been saying for a while that a lot of people who vote Trump are just really afraid. Fear and negativity got us here. So let's put an end to it. Put an end to fear and negativity by being positive and brave. And I want to hear your comments. Please let me know, if you voted for Donald Trump. That's cool. I'm not gonna judge you. Let me know why. Let me know what you're feeling right now. What kind of emotions you're going through. If you're going through some tough shit right now, like if you feel like you're panicking, know that I'm here for you guys. I've been talking to people basically all night and all morning that are in a deep state of panic. And this is the whole reason I'm doing this video. I'm here. You want to talk? You know what my name is on Facebook. On Facebook. Well, yeah, I'm on Facebook. NecroVMX/Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm on YouTube. But my name on here is the same name on Skype. It's the same name on Steam. Contact me somehow. Talk to me about it. I will do my best to try and make you feel better. As a matter of fact, the last thing that I'm going to read is from probably the one person that I know that is the most upset and angry about this. And this poor girl is just almost inconsolable at this point. And angry and scared for a lot of reasons, a lot of reasons. And obviously, like I said, I'm not going to say her name, but she did come on my post on my none of this, by the way, is on the NecroVMX Facebook. It's on my own personal one where I said don't panic, and she said too late. And I said you have more friends than enemies. Remember that. But, well, okay, that's not the right thread, but she had said to me at one point, I'm still panicking. And I said, we will get through this, and we will be stronger. If we have to smuggle you into Canada in a hollowed-out bust of Shaquille O'Neal's head, we will make that happen, and there will be a bad Seth Rogen movie about it. But it likely won't come to that. And, I got a reply a few minutes later where she said, what the fuck is this fucking fuck, and why am I laughing? Oh God, what? And all I could say at that point is mission accomplished. Like, this poor girl is just like in a state of abject terror, and I got her to laugh. I got her to smile, and it's the reason I'm here, right? That's why I'm trying to do. I'm trying to entertain people. I'm trying to make people laugh. Trying to make people smile. Doing the best I can, I think that however you can deal with this, deal with it, but try to come out of it with a positive attitude. I know it seems frightening and dire and all that right now, but it's it first of all hasn't even begun yet. And really, like, I'm not going to say that I'm not a little freaked out by this, but I really don't think that I really don't think that it's very constructive to be panicking right now. So I don't, I know this is a very long video, and I don't know how many people, I don't know how many views it's going to get. Probably not many. My videos don't really get that many views anymore, and, that's fine, whatever. I don't care. But this is one video. I don't know how many people are still watching, but if you are, like, I'm going to do something that I've never done before on YouTube. I'm going to ask you to like this video. I'm going to ask you to share this video. If you are watching this video and you're not subscribed to me, I'm going to ask you to subscribe. All YouTubers do this. They always go, I'm gonna ask you to comment too. Like, comment, subscribe, share. I don't do that because I feel that I don't need to ask people that, because if they want to do that, they'll do that. But this is important. I really do want to get this message out there. Don't panic.